Hey guys, so today we are finally going to jump into what has to be my all-time favorite mode in the history of Dragon Ball Legends. I've been playing this game since day one, since back in May of 2018, and I can confidently say that there's not a single other mode in this game that captures the pure, unadulterated essence of what it means to be Dragon Ball quite like this one does. If we even go ahead and take a look at the main page for Dragon Ball Legends on the App Store, it says, and I quote, "Dragon Ball Legends is the ultimate Dragon Ball experience on your mobile device. This Dragon Ball anime action RPG game features epic 3D visuals and animations." And yeah, they definitely weren't kidding, because this mode exemplifies just that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into, again, what I consider to be the greatest mode of all time, the Tournament of Power. So here we are in the Tournament of Power mode itself, and right away you can see that they've pretty much went all out with this game board design. Not a single flaw to be seen anywhere here. And on top of that, we have some original OST playing in the background that you really don't get to experience during any other game mode in this game. So that's pretty cool. So you might be thinking to yourself, what exactly makes this game mode so great? Well, we've definitely got a lot to talk about here, so buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the greatest mode known to mankind. So the first thing that you really want to make sure you do is to set your team. So we can go ahead and sort of scroll through our box here if we click this switch out button. You have your team right there. You have your two backup characters right here, which you can minimize and maximize by doing this. So again, we can scroll through our box here to sort of strategize and think of which units would exactly perform the best in here. They've even added some extra abilities to characters specifically for the Tournament of Power. So for example, if we click on this Legends Limited Vegeta right here, we can actually swap back and forth between his normal set of abilities right here. We click on the regular stats button and the TOP stats button. You get this really nice bluish, sort of like light blue background for the his sort of like template there, which is pretty nice. Yeah, these abilities right here that you're seeing are specifically for the Tournament of Power mode. We can click on this one right here, and we can click on this one right here, and these are only effective in this mode specifically. So even that alone is definitive proof that they've decided to truly go above and beyond with this mode. And on top of that, they've created specific tiers of power for each unit in the game for the Tournament of Power mode. So for example, if we click on this filter button, we can filter by the TOP tier, and we can even see more details on the tiers by clicking on this boost character button in the top right corner there. And this means basically that characters that are in the higher tiers will actually result in you getting more points if you include them on your team. So we can look at the Z tier here. Z tier characters are getting 4% extra to their battle score. S tier characters are getting 3%. A tier is 2%. B tier is 1%. And then C tier is getting nothing. So that is definitely good to know. There's also just normal battle bonus characters, but they've decided to not put any characters in the battle bonus list right there. So that's a pretty cool feature. So with that being said, let's go ahead and construct our team. So the way that I like to construct my team is, so this is my team from last season, so I haven't even started the season yet. Basically what I do is I go back to the actual leaderboard here. So if you go to your battle score little I button over here and click that, it'll take you to the leaderboards where you'll be able to see the top players that have the highest scores amongst the people playing this mode. The loading is very, very fast, so they've definitely improved this a lot since this mode came out, and I'm very happy that it takes less than a second or so to load this screen here. But whenever it's done loading, we can go ahead and click on a player that you see on the leaderboard, and you can actually inspect what team they're using. And you can do this, I believe, depending on what tier you're in. So for example, if you're in the Z tier, you can look at Z tier people. And if you're in S tier, you can look at S tier players, if you want to sort of see what other players in your tier are using. And that sort of gives you a good foundation to determine how you want to build your team. So, I'm really glad that this is very fast, lightning speed loading right here. The connecting at the bottom right, that's actually a feature that's exclusive to the Tournament of Power mode itself. This is not something that you see ever during any other portion of this game. For example, if you go to your guild screen, you will never see that loading. This is an exclusive feature to the Tournament of Power mode itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll grab a drink of water, and I'll be right back. Anyway, if we go back to our team here, and we take a look at our characters, you can notice that there's some slots over here for equipment. Now, one of the best things about the Tournament of Power mode are the just, straight abundance of equipment options that they offer for your characters. The way you obtain this equipment is if you go over to the exchange shop and you scroll down to the rare metal shop, there's actually a section for the Tournament of Power, and from here you can get as many of these equipments as you want. They only cost 30 rare metals each, which is definitely very, very cheap. Rare metals are a very, very common currency that you could obtain very easily every single day. So I'm glad that they decided to make these rare metals, considering that these rare metals have definitely no other uses whatsoever for any other character. Like, you definitely can't use them for like free ultras, soul boosting, or anything like that. So it's really good that they made this for Tournament of Power equipment. So if you go back to the Tournament of Power here, you can actually use those equipments that you purchased with your very, very expendable rare metals to equip onto your characters to make them stronger in this mode. So as you can see here, we have a pretty good roll on this one. For example, the Stay Alive Gohan equipment, we're getting a massive 7.45% extra blast defense and 8.2% to base strike attack via this equipment. So that's a pretty good roll for that one. And the final thing just to mention before we jump into the actual mode itself is once you click on a area you want to move to. So for example, you can see we have 3 spaces here. There's the left space, the middle space, and the right space. There's different fist icons, a different amount of fist icons on each of those spaces. And that represents the difficulty of each space. So in order to rack up the most points that you can, what you want to do is you want to click on the space that has the most fists. And that has definitely resulted in, at least in my experience, the higher scores without really accounting for difficulty whatsoever. So you just click on the spaces with the highest amount of fists, and you can even look and plan out your route before you start the Tournament of Power to make sure you're optimizing the most points you can possibly get, because again, you want to pick the path that has the highest amount of fists in total so that you can rack up the most points from the highest difficulty. So let's go ahead and jump into the fight here. So if we go ahead and click this challenge button, this will open up the menu, and so there's a few things to mention here. Number one, you can actually determine what the order is that you attack the enemies in, which is a very, very useful thing to do. So for example, if I want to kill Vegito Blue first, I click on Vegito Blue right there, and that designates him as the first attack target. You can see the little 1 there. So if I want to attack Goku Black second, I go like this. That designates a 2 there. If I want to go after Future Gohan next, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's pretty self-explanatory from that point forward. You can see there's a layout bonus as well. There's a bunch of different effects that you can get for putting characters on those specific tiles. So if we click on the switch out right here, we can go back to our select screen and we can designate certain spaces on the field for our character to be placed. And again, that will result in that character receiving different types of buffs depending on what that space does. So for example, this one down here, if we move off the space and click on this, this is a health restoration up space. So we have a character with a lower amount of HP. We can go ahead and move them down here to make them regenerate more HP. The one up here is a special move gauge charge rate up. So you can see each character has a little special move gauge icon below their HP there. It's right there. You can see right now, obviously it's 0% because we haven't done anything yet. So they'll be able to charge up their special move through that. And every single stage has one of these spaces down here, which is a upgrade special move space right there. It says plus 40%. So that basically increases the damage dealt by your special move by 40% every time. So if you have a character who has a high amount of special move bar filled up before going into a stage, you want to make sure that you're putting your character on that space to do as much damage as you possibly can. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and use this setup here. So we've built our team, we've put them in the correct spot, we've picked a place to attack first, we've picked our path. We've definitely hyped up this event pretty highly since this video has begun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pick our attack order here. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking Vegito Blue, then we're going to go ahead and attack you, then we'll do this, and this. I want to leave Future Gohan for last because I don't want to have to deal with his endurance and killing him twice, so we'll leave him for last there. So with that said, let's go ahead and actually play the Tournament of Power. The gameplay is pretty extraordinary. We have a lot to sort of go through and explain as this plays out, so let's go ahead and click Move to Space, and I will sort of walk you guys through what happens here. And there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.